Hi, today we are going to discuss journey of cadaver to dissection lab and its respect. In this session, we are going to discuss importance of cadaver in medical education, sources of cadavers, journey of cadaver to dissection lab, preservation of cadavers, why to respect a cadaver and how to respect it. Before going for about descriptions, let us briefly discuss history of anatomy teaching. Teaching of anatomy has started from presumptions, and presently anatomy is being taught by more sophisticated dissection table, which is called virtual dissection. It is a combination of anatomy, CT scan, and MRI. Human anatomy is the oldest subject in the field of medicine. It is regarded as mother of all medical subjects. Teaching of anatomy has started with hypothetical ideas as taught by the Galen. They were not based on dissection. Most of Galen's teaching was proven wrong by Herophilus after dissection of human body. X-rays, ultrasound, CT scans and MRIs are useful tools which help us in learning anatomy. Virtual dissection, as already said, has revolutionized the teaching of anatomy, but all of them are substitutes for the real cadaveric dissection. Let me ask you how practical anatomy is taught. It can be taught by cadaveric dissection on living subjects, what we call as living anatomy. It is the study of anatomy in living. For example, in case of upper GI endoscopy, interior of the stomach is visualized with an endoscope, which is an endoscope is introduced inside stomach. It is fitted with a camera, and we can see the interior of the stomach on a screen. Is there any better teaching aid than cadaver? The answer is no. It gives real touch of the human body and tissues. It is not as expensive as living anatomy. The only thing is if we can get a cadaver for dissection. All other teaching methods are a substitute for dissection. A definite advantage of cadavers is we can teach more number of the students, and all regions can be covered using cadaver. Virtual dissection, though it is a combination of CT, MRI, and anatomy, is not available in every institute of the country. It consists of a dissection table. Here we can see anatomy in a systemic manner. You can remove the skin, superficial fascia, muscles, bones, nerves, and see only the cardiovascular system, or we can see only the muscular system, or we can see only the nervous system by taking out other systems of the body. But virtual dissection has its own demerits, not affordable by all institutes. We don't get real touch of human body and tissues. Only limited number of students can be taught on one table, and virtual dissection table also needs services and maintenance and training of the staff for operating. So ultimately we come to the cadaver. What is importance of cadaver in medical education? As already said, all other teaching modalities discussed above are substitutes for cadaveric dissection. There is no real substitute. The only thing is availability of a cadaver. In Edinburgh and Maryland, dissection was made mandatory for medical students. An anatomical act was passed in America in 1831. Now the question is where from to get cadavers? Sources of cadavers was not defined in anatomical act. So people took advantage of this lacuna. As a consequence of it, demand for cadavers increased. Berkey and Harry, working in a port, took advantage of it. They killed 16 people after intoxicating them and sold these bodies to medical schools for monetary benefits. This scandal took place in Edinburgh in 1828. Now, the question is how to stop smuggling of cadavers. Legislation for procuring cadavers were passed. Anatomical acts were formed in all those states where medical schools or colleges existed. To mention one, Warburton Anatomy Act of 1832, Act of Parliament of United Kingdom that gave free license to doctors, teachers of anatomy and bona fide medical students to dissect donated bodies. It provided for procurement and utilization of unclaimed bodies for dissection in medical colleges. Thus, this act marks the beginning of legalized dissection. In our state, there is also an anatomical act of 1959. This act guides us about the procurement of cadavers, which cadavers can be used in dissection, where from to get these cadavers, what legal formalities we have to complete, how cadavers can be transported, and which cadavers can be transported. There is role of district magistrate and superintendent of police in transportation of cadavers. The various sources of cadavers are hospitals, police stations, social organizations. For example, there is a society in Punjab called Pingalwala Society. This society takes care of the handicapped people. After their death, bodies are donated to local and regional medical colleges. Concept of body donation is new in India. This concept is yet in embryonic state in Jammu and Kashmir. Donating of bodies for medical students is not an easy job. It needs a registration of the individual. There are a lot of pressures from religious organizations, friends, and family members who oppose it. These dedicated people who want to serve the humanity even after death cross all these barriers. At times, it is very difficult for them to get their will executed after their death. Permission for transportation of cadavers. Different states have different rules for procuring and transportation of cadavers. In Punjab, permission of district magistrate and superintendent of police is required for transportation of the cadaver. Now the question is, even if you get a body, how to preserve it? It is preserved by using formalin. Formalin was used as a fixative in 1890. Formalin is injected inside arteries, veins, or cavities of the cadaver. This process is called embalming. So, embalming is a technique of artificially preserving the human body. Now, how medicos are supposed to respect a cadaver? First of all, these bodies are very precious as they are not easily available. They are donated by great people who were committed to serve humanity even after death by overcoming pressures of religious organizations, society, family, and friends. They donated their precious bodies for the benefit of humanity. So, these cadavers deserve utmost respect. If we talk about the journey of the cadaver to the dissection lab, it is very complex process. First of all, a person should give consent for donation of the body. He has to register with some agency which takes care of donated bodies. During this process, he has to overcome religious, social, cultural pressures. Even at times, they have to save their hard earned money to fulfill their wish. It allows medicos to learn art of medicine when live people do not allow them to touch their bodies. So this cadaver deserves utmost respect. Now, how to respect a cadaver in dissection hall? First of all, we have to preserve these precious bodies, keep cadavers at proper place and in proper posture. Privacy bodies should be covered. Proper dissection and disposal of the biological waste as per religious background of the donor should always be kept in mind. Preserve viscera for future generations of medical students. Best way of respecting these cadavers is to dedicate ourselves for betterment of humanity. I want to summarize my lecture as anatomy is the oldest medical subject. The teaching was hypothetical in the beginning. Many books were written on the anatomy by Galen, which were proved wrong later on. Introduction of dissection cleared many misconceptions. First, dissection was done by Herophilus. Keeping in view its importance, it was made mandatory for teaching anatomy in medical schools. Cadavers are preserved in formalin. Cadavers are donated bodies of great people who were committed to serve humanity even after death. These great people facilitated for us to learn art of medicine when living people did not allow us to die. Really, cadavers are bodies of great people who, despite pressure from family, friends, religious organizations, and society, donated bodies for benefit of humanity. Really, these cadavers deserve respect. Let us go for a quiz based on this lecture. First human body was dissected by Galen, Herophilus, Aristotle, Harvey. Herophilus is the correct option. In Edinburgh, dissection was made mandatory for medical students in year 1826, 1832, 1824, 1733. Formalin was used as a preservative in year 1890 is correct option. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share this channel. Thank you for watching.